We are back here on Couch Coach Live, another Tuesday night under lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, fellas?
Ain't too much what's going on, fellas. How y'all doing?
What's up? What's up? I'm good. I'm good. How you fellas doing?
Man, no complaints at all.
Right, right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I checked out that
Yeah,
little interview you
same
did,
here.
man. That's what's up.
Just working.
Oh,
Nothing too
appreciate it.
crazy.
All right, all right, all right.
Yep. So what you were saying something out? That's how I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying because I think I was cutting you off in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Like I got a little slack. I just want y'all to know that, so it might be a little, everybody be a little patient. But I just was saying what's up to X. You know what I mean? See how y'all was doing. I know y'all. I saw X's interview. That was a real good interview. I haven't finished it yet, but it seemed for what I've seen, it seemed really, real good.
Oh man, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Hmm. I see you trying to get your couch coach live on. I see you. I see you.
Man,
Nah,
a little.
that don't mean I'm a terrible interviewer. Nah, that ain't no me at all. No,
Oh man.
nothing on that. No.
Yeah. But I'm excited, man, to be here. Sorry I missed last week, man. You know what I mean? I'm
I still
excited
hear
to be here
echo. I
today.
still hear
You know what I'm
echo.
saying?
I don't know what's going on. I still hear echo.
I don't okay. Okay. I don't know. Still hear it?
Um, I don't think I hear it now. I mean, I let it play because I know it's um like a few seconds in between, but I don't hear echo now. I think we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah. So we don't have echo no more.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, so we got great show lined up for you tonight. We'll talk about Michigan men. Uh, uh, okay, so we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So we'll talk about Michigan winning the national championship. You said UCLA women's winning the national championship. Somewhat the still fallout between Geno and Don. We'll talk about that. Mike Malone being named the new head coach at UNC. Angel Reese found a new home in Atlanta. And then round out with Kirk Cousins going to Las Vegas. So first off, we'll talk about Michigan winning the national championship, fellas. So the Wolverines won their second national championship. It's their first since 1989 with a 69-63 win over UConn. Actually, this is the first time that the Big Ten has won a championship since Michigan State won in 2000. So I'm gonna go around the horn, fellas. X, what are your thoughts on Michigan winning the Natty?
Um, First of all, the game it wasn't a pretty game. A lot of missed shots, but I think that's the type of game that UConn was looking to make this game, like kind of muck it up a little bit. Um, but in the process of doing so, Michigan showed their true grit. Um, especially Coach May had those guys playing um, fantastic defense, especially in the paint. And it's kind of impressive because if you think about it, the starting five was all like everyone in the starting five was, I think, from out of the portal, all
Yeah.
transfers coming in.
Mhm.
Um, Before I go any deeper, I'm gonna give a shout out to Elliot Cadeau, former Tar Heel, got him a natty. Um, but back to what I was saying. Like I said, I think it was an impressive coaching job by Coach May. It seemed like everyone on the team was bought in. And like I said, they defended like crazy, especially inside the paint. And by doing so, they ended a 37-year title drought and also ended a 26-year title drought for the Big Ten. Because Coach, you said since what,
Mm.
2000, since Michigan State.
Michigan State. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Also, Michigan proved that you don't need style points when you have championship DNA. Um, and then speaking on UConn's behalf, I think their their run in the last 4 years has been impressive. Two championships, um, and then you had another championship appearance last night, although you lost, but it's still in order to get to three championships in 4 years is difficult. We all know how it is. You got to be on your A game or put your best foot forward in the NCAA tournament, and to be able to do that for 3 of the last 4 years is impressive. Shout out to Coach Hurley, one of the best coaches in college basketball, if not the best, in my opinion. Um, his players are just like Michigan. They're bought in. They they understand the assignment. They know what the coach is looking for. Um, and I like what Coach Hurley has built at UConn, and also like what Coach May has built at Michigan. I can see Michigan in the national championship picture for years to come, as long as if they keep Coach May at the helm. Um, so to wrap up what I'm saying, I say it was a perfect cap to a season where Michigan found ways to win, especially this game, how ugly it was, but they pulled it out when it mattered most.
All right. What's your thoughts, Mal?
Um, Same day, scrappy game. Like I actually was working that day, so I've been watching the highlights. I watched them multiple times. Um, and what I saw was, like it almost seemed like UConn. Um, I feel like they should have went in the paint a little bit more. I think they should have just. I think they ran from it a little bit. It seemed like they was living off the three. They were 9 for 33, and uh, so I just feel like the points in the paint was 36 to 20. Oh no, it just seemed like Michigan just trusted their end zone, and I don't think Michigan really respected the big man of UConn. You know what I mean? Um, so that's really my main thing that I saw from it, and the reason why is because the next subject we're going to talk about, I could see the difference between both teams that won the championship in both games. You know what I mean? I just wish UConn would have fed the inside a little bit more. Even the free throws, like it was 12-16 UConn, and it was 25-28. So you really could tell that they was really passing that ball on the inside. You know what I mean? Um, that's really it, man. Shout out to y'all boy that came from North Carolina. It seemed like he did his thing. I seen this have been a lot of praise. Um, my boss from Duke said this the first time to have 5 starters that transferred to win from the portal to win the championship, right? This is the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, you know, we're gonna talk even more. I'm gonna bring this up right here to what we're gonna talk about a little bit later on. But hey man, kudos to both teams. UConn, it was a lucky 3-point shot. They might not even supposed to been there, but I feel like if they would have committed more to throwing the ball to Mullen on the inside, because he only got 11 points. I think they'd have fed him a little bit more. Maybe he'd have got through the free. It was only 69-63. You know what I mean? It just really seemed like they was just living off that 3-point line. But that's it.
Yeah. I just think in this game, I think when you look at it, the first half, UConn kind of, I wouldn't say they had control of it,
Mm-hmm.
especially once Cadeau kind of got in foul trouble early. So I definitely think that helped them the first half. That's kind of was like the doom for them as they led going into the second half, and then Michigan kind of went on not crucial, but they got a double-digit lead within that second half. UConn kind of got it within like 6 points, and then they hit a three with I think like a minute some change to go to kind of put this game to bed. It just inside presence. I think that's one thing about Michigan. It's just that size, and that's one thing you definitely seen that a lot, especially in the Arizona game and the national semifinal game. So you look at that, and then just the fact of them being able to, they shot 13% from three. So you think the fact that 9 times out of 10, most times you're going to lose a game if you shoot that bad from the three. Because most teams, especially now, rely on a 3-point shot. So, and just kudos to Coach May. This is another one now where how the evolution of college basketball, because it used to be, if you win a tournament, you need to have experience. You need to have an experienced team. Then kind of like Coach K and Coach Cal start having like big time freshmen making contribution. You look at like with Coach Cal, what he did with Anthony Davis back in 2012. Then you look at kind of what Coach K did more when you had like a Jaleel Okafor, you had like a Justice Winslow, all those guys. Multiple freshmen lead you to a national championship. And now like the evolution of like the transfer portal of well now, like you said, all 5 guys essentially they did come from the transfer portal. And that's one thing too, where this is just the next evolution of college basketball where especially now as the portal opens up today, this is like one of the things where this is going to be an occurrence. It may not necessarily all 5 guys going to be from the portal, but the vast majority of your team is going to have to be from that portal. So it's just yet again, another example of kind of how to survive in this new age of college basketball and who's going to evolve from it. So just another step in it. But kudos to Michigan, kudos to Coach May, and it was a good game. Like you said, kind of do feel for Coach Hurley. It had another great season. And like I said, it's just so difficult to even get here. Even think the fact, especially we talked about last week about that victory over Duke in the Elite Eight, just to get here, and obviously even with the grit of that Illinois team, I thought that was going to kind of do them in with their sides as well, but they was able to kind of handle that in that game on Saturday. So kudos to Michigan, man, and this could be a situation where we might see, like I said, Michigan might be around because a lot of people can say, hey, we can kind of come together and and create create another version of this team another way. But it's hard to get guys, like as far as with 1 year of experience. So it's just kudos to Coach May. This was a difficult championship for sure to win. I think this is going to be how you win championships going forward.
Okay. Yeah. But the thing about it, you got to get
fellas, So fellas, we got to talk about the UCLA. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I was just saying piggybacking off what you were saying. you're right, but I think you still got to get those players to buy into um, what you're selling. If you can't get everyone to buy in, then
Yeah.
you're gonna run into situations where it's not really gonna work out. But like I said, for Coach May, everyone was bought in. It was all or nothing.
Yeah. All right. So staying in college basketball, we'll do women's. We had UCLA winning their first ever title, which they won in 1978, but even then, there wasn't a the NCAA tournament didn't really exist until 1982. So officially, this is their official first national championship win. They beat South Carolina 79-51. Lauren Betts was the MOP of the series, and definitely a huge shout out to Corey Close, getting her first title. I've been with the team for 15 years as the head coach. What you got thoughts on UCLA winning the Natty? What's your first X? What you got?
Um, anytime you can witness a program come together after years of just coming up short and witness them winning their first national title is special. But the way UCLA did it, they were wire to wire demolition. Like they put the pedal to the metal from the opening tip, and it kind of shocked me because this was like really my first time really paying attention to UCLA because the West Coast times they play so late at
Mhm.
night. So just getting a chance to actually watch them and see how they came out, and it kind of threw me off. I was like, I was kind of expecting the opposite. I was expecting South Carolina to come out with the wide to wide demolition, but um, Corey Close had her team ready to go, focused, bought in, same as Coach May. Everyone was bought in. She built a well-oiled machine that was unselfish, very physical inside the paint, and suffocating on defense. Um, and like I was saying, that you add all that together, and this is what happens when experience meets hunger after years of Final Four near misses. Like you get there and you feel like you reach your ceiling, but you can always punch through a glass ceiling. And I felt like they finally punched through, got the job done, and earned their first national title. Well, their first official national title.
All right. What you got? What you got, Mal?
Man, I had to, like I said, I didn't watch the game, I watched the highlights. And as I was watching it, I played the longer one, and I can't wait to watch this team again. I'm gonna be honest, it was beautiful. UCLA played beautiful basketball. If you look at the team stats, they beat South Carolina in every category. But just to sit there and watch Betts and how they used her, it was brilliant to me because I've noticed in basketball, like there's picks, and then they're getting in the hole, and then it's a last little pass, and she would run, and then she would automatically set herself up. And the way she would set herself up, you can either shoot, and she's already boxed out, so she can get the rebound, or she's basically setting the girl up that you could just throw it over the top and she could just lay it in. It was beautiful. You know what I thought, what I actually felt like I was watching? I felt like I was watching Tim Duncan and the Spurs. Like it really to me looked like that because I hadn't seen this type of organized basketball in a long time, to the point in the second half they started doubling her, and then it opened up for the guards to come running. You know what I mean? I was like, is that Tony Parker? You know what I mean? I was like, no, this is beautiful basketball, and kudos to them, man. Like they deserve it. Like they just just to see a team. I love seeing teams be able to just play basketball and pass the ball and moving around. Like, it was 23 assists to 9. You know what I mean? Like, South Carolina only had one player, which was T. Johnson, that was over 10 points. No one else got above 10 points. Like, man, field goal attempts, it was 18 to 60. South Carolina had 18 out of 62, and UCLA had 30, made 30 shots out of 69. Like, man, brilliant, man. Like, congratulations to them. Like, seriously, I haven't watched them either, man. But that was beautiful basketball.
Yeah. Dominating performance. It's funny because I got kind of a win because obviously they only lost one game, and that was against Texas early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that was like they reeled off a lot, consecutive games. So they've been dominant all season, and just looking at kind of even when they beat Texas on Friday night, it was figured even in the bracket I had them going against UConn. I can stop Lauren Betts. Like she's just someone that's she's just dominant. Like you look at just kind of like her stat line in that game. Just a walking double double. She just does her thing. And then like with the experience with Hawkes, Kiki Rice, like this team has been knocking at the door for a while, and now they found, like you said, got through it in the series like in this year. So definitely dominant from the start. I don't they got up to an early lead like 13-6. Then they closed out the first quarter on a run, and it was up by 29 points going to the fourth quarter. It was just a slaughter. And like South Carolina, they just couldn't get the shots down, and just UCLA, just a great defensive team. They've done this to teams in the tournament and also throughout the whole year. They've been dominant. So these last couple of years for UCLA, and it's funny. It's almost like the inverse of how we talked about like the whole transfer, this and the third. But now with them being all seniors and being there together and having that what we used to call eons of experience helped them win this game. So it's kind of one of the things where you look at just from the standpoint of just how good this UCLA team has been all season. I've seen them play a couple times. Like you said, obviously that Texas lost. I think they lost in November, if my memory serves correct. So they've won like almost like 30 straight games.
Ooh.
So you just look at it just from the standpoint of they've been rolling all year. I think last time I seen them, they beat USC. I think that's one of the games I've seen. And obviously, I've seen them throughout the tournament. But yeah, they've been dominant all year. And even I thought about last year. I thought they had a good shot. Because matter of fact, it was crazy because last year they ended up beating they beat Richmond in the round of 32 last year. And then they fell a little short last year. So shout out to UCLA, dominant win, but
man, I was like when I saw in the second half they started doubling bets. I'm sorry,
even in that game. Well, that in the game, yeah, no, you good. No, what you guys say?
No, it was just as I was watching it, man, and I was like, oh, this is something remarkable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I saw the adjustment because it was 1-on-1 at first, and then they started doubling, and it just opened up, man, for the guards. It's just easy layups, and I was like, man, this remind me of the Spurs. Like, you know what I mean? I hadn't seen that type of play in a long time, probably with the Joker sometimes, but not really. You know what I mean? Not really, because Joker always passed the ball. The ball goes through him. I'm talking about like setting like picks. You know what I mean? And just moving your feet a specific way. I was like, man, it was beautiful. Like, it was really cool. Like just watching it. You know what I mean? Paying attention to the details.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny. So great Final Four for the on the women's side.
Mm-hmm.
So before the UCLA Texas game, we had the UConn versus South Carolina game, where at the time UConn was undefeated. Uh, South Carolina did beat UConn, obviously, to get to the game on for Sunday. So as the game ended, like typical, all the coaches and players in the handshake line. Geno said something to a point that got to a point where Don Staley, it got heated between those two to a point where the coaching staffs of both UConn and South Carolina had to kind of break them away. Obviously, we had the fallout, and then the apology that didn't directly apologize to Don Staley. What's you guys' thoughts on just that whole situation that happened on Friday night? I'm gonna go to you first, X.
You hate to see it, especially from two respected and between two Hall of Fame college coaches. And I felt like it kind of took away from South Carolina's moment. Um, they went out, they pretty much went out there and dominated, especially in the fourth quarter. And then you see that you see the interaction between Coach Staley and Geno, and you're like, because when I saw it, I was like, what happened? What was it? Something that a player did, or was it because it caught me off guard? Because I looked up, I was watching the game, I looked away, and then I'm looking back up, I'm seeing Geno going off, and then as the game is over, you don't see Geno in the line shaking hands. He's um, heading back towards the locker room. So, like I said, I just felt like that moment took away from South Carolina's moment. They went out there, like I said, they went out there and dominated, especially in the fourth quarter. They um, they they stopped UConn from making it to the championship game, ended their undefeated season. I mean, I understand it's heartbreaking, and yeah, in that moment, yeah, you're frustrated because you put all this work in to stay undefeated, and you wanted to get to the championship game. You wanted to see if you can go back to back, which Geno has done before. He has gone back to back several times. He's went undefeated several times. Um, so I felt like he should have a better understanding of it. Tonight just wasn't our night. The better team won. Well, if you felt like your team was the better team, y'all just weren't on that night. Um, and then the apology, it you know how the apology game is sometimes, especially when they put a statement out and all that. Was it really his words, or he had someone come up with that for him? Was it sincere? I'm not Geno. I mean, I hope it was sincere, but like I said, we really don't know. But unfortunate interaction that I felt like it kind of took away from South Carolina's moment.
What's your thoughts, Mel?
I don't know, man. Like he should know better. You know what I mean? Like you're a college coach. You're supposed to set an example for the ladies and for young men. Like he's supposed to know better, man. Like, you know, damn near like you the greatest coach. Like you damn near like the NCAA coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like the standard, you should know better. This young coach is, it's Dawn. It's like her time right now. Like, you know what I mean? And it's nothing about her that come off like it's disrespectful. And even if she was disrespectful, you supposed to be You're supposed to be better than that. You know what I mean? Then that's a conversation you're supposed to have that's not in public. You know what I mean? Like when you're in a lose situation by acting that way in public. Nobody's going to be on your side. You know what I mean? Um, and I seen his numbers and what he is, and maybe just feeling himself. But he's also getting older. You know what I mean? And sometimes when people get older, they just feel like they can say and do whatever they want. But there's no excuse. And the apology, even the apology, like before he sent that out, like you didn't have somebody read that to say you really need to apologize to her more than anybody else before you needed to apologize to her. And I know we see this a lot though. We've seen, more and more, I do this show, you see more and more disrespect and they get like a slap on the wrist and everything is okay. Remember the gentleman on said nappy headed whole, remember that? When he said nappy headed something and then
Yeah, Don Adams.
Reese going like this, and then all of a sudden it was an issue. She did it, and somebody else did it, and they was like, "Oh, it's a big thing." It's just always something. It seemed like, in especially girls, but he should know better. Like he really, really should know better. You know what I mean? It's also women's sports and definitely women's basketball. Like you're supposed to be way more respectful. You know what I mean? Like she almost came out. She made her come out of her character. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, this is honestly that's Geno Auriemma for you guys. Like he's always has been that sore loser. He's been this way, but it's just not in the
Mm,
public. And
okay.
that's the thing with him. It's like he's been this way, but you just don't see it at this level. I mean, there's so much stuff been documented about. Obviously, if you look at the history between him and the late, Pat Summit, Muffet McGraw. Like I mean, he's gone through a lot. He's been through these heated not altercations that we've seen in the public, but they have had some stories about Geno, and that's just on brand with him. And it should go show you he's a sore loser. If you look at last year, because remember last year UConn won, they beat South Carolina. They beat them in convincing fashion, almost eerily similar to what happened on Sunday when the
Mm,
game was over. Now, mind you, Geno had won. He goes in and hugs Don. He hugged her last year. But
mm-hmm,
now this undefeated season, him losing in the fashion that he is, where was a hug now? Where was a hug after you lost? It just go to show you
mm-hmm,
he's a sore loser. And the apology was BS. Because like I even said, like if you expect apology for Geno, I could tell you beachfront property in Nebraska. Because that wasn't an apology at all.
yeah, it wasn't.
Because when you sit down and you think about it, here's the staff, the players, they weren't affected by this. Don Staley was affected by that. That's just like if I had said something about somebody, instead of saying, "Hey, I apologize to you for what I said to you," no, I apologize to your family. My family, your family doesn't have anything to do with this. This action that you caused, because the two people that he should have apologized to was Don Staley and then his assistant,
Right.
because she had to break that up. And you can even tell on her face, like, look, go away. She even was motioning him to leave. Like she
Mm-hmm,
motioned him to leave. So it's like those are two women that you really, really need to apologize directly. Hey, I need to apologize to Don Staley. I need to apologize to my assistant, Coach Elliott, and that's it. You don't worry about the players. You don't worry about the staff. You worry about them two women that you put in a position where they shouldn't have been. Where Coach Elliott became the mediator, where she shouldn't even been there. It's like it's a layup. It's a handshake line. That's for us to have the
right.
conversation, and then Gino just getting caught up in lies, like the whole situation where we didn't see each other at handshake before the game, which is a lie. We seen it. Then he lied about Sarah Strong, saying that one of the players ripped her jersey. The girl ripped her jersey, and we all seen that on national television, like out of frustration. nobody touched her jersey to a point to that. So I'm just like, he got caught in lies, and it's just one of those things where it's just like that's Geno Auriemma for you in a nutshell. He'll always be that way till forever. And I'm glad, like Candace Parker said, I'm glad that people start seeing his true colors. And yeah, that's Geno for you, unfortunately. But that's he a sore loser.
I have a question. Do you think that might hurt his recruitment?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No. Because he's been this way.
Yeah. But it's a new generation out there. They may not,
Yeah,
So that's why.
I don't see it hurting his recruitment.
Okay.
Because, like I said, if you commit to UConn,
Yeah, because the
you
crazy
know,
thing about it, he's been this way.
yeah. And then once you commit to UConn, you already know that you're gonna be playing far into March and early April to be competing for a national championship. So
Okay. He know better though. He shouldn't be talking to no female.
He know better, but he knows better. But then there's been history of him doing stuff of that type of nature, not like that in public, but there's a lot of stuff that he has done that's like really like disrespectful and kind of like crossing the line. So it's there. So like that's just how he is. He gonna still get the recruits, unfortunately, despite all the stuff he's done in the past. Yeah. So read Pat Summitt's memoir, and you'll be like, yeah. And that's why Pat Summitt probably was laughing her tail off in her grave on Friday. Like I told y'all.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like something like this happened before publicly with him for some reason. I just believe something that he did something weird, but it was in the public. He was younger. I just can't remember. But anyway.
But yeah, he's done stuff. I don't think not to like this extent where like it got heated like on the sidelines like that, but there have been like jabs like at press conferences here and there, and so which I think a lot of people might have looked at it like kind of tongue in cheek, but it was some stuff behind it. Like people say when you tell a joke, there's some truth in the joke, and I think sometimes they banter back and forth. There was some truth to kind of what they said. But I think a lot of people just looked at it always just competition. But I honestly think that it was a dislike of both parties.
Right.
But yeah. Crazy.
It's wild.
All right. So fellas, let's we'll talk about Mike Malone. So let's talk about Mike Malone. He was hired as the new coach of the University of North Carolina. Has won 510 games in his NBA career, 12 seasons. What you guys' thoughts on the hire of Mike Malone to Chapel Hill? I'm gonna go with you first, X. What you got?
I like the hire. I'm kind of glad that they went outside of the box this time, bringing someone new, fresh, that has really no ties to UNC. So I'm all for it. In my opinion, it's a massive swing after the Hubert Davis firing. So you kind of bring in a guy that's you bring in a guy that built the Nuggets into a championship contending team. Won the title back in 2023 with Joker and Murray. But if you think about it, Mike Malone does have like a history of player development. If you think about his time with the Kings, um, I think
Knicks.
The Knicks, I feel like Cleveland was in that mix too.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the Spurs, but I may be wrong. I feel like the Spurs too.
Hornets.
He's good at player development. And then that's gonna transfer over good for the college level because you bringing in teenagers and you can help develop them, get them ready for the next level. And then his defensive schemes is going to be a great fit for North Carolina, especially if they get in the type of recruits and players that'll fit his scheme. And I also feel like it's a culture fit for UNC. So like I said, I'm all for it. I'm ready to see what Tar Heel basketball is going to look like with bringing in someone from the outside. And you can tell that they're serious about it because they gave him a 6-year deal for $50 million. So this isn't just it really isn't a rebuild. It's more of a reload. And let's hit the ground running, and let's put Carolina back at the top where they like where they should be. North Carolina is a blue blood, and like the last 4 or 5 years, to be honest, they haven't been like viewed as a blue blood. Missing the tournament or first round exits. That's not North Carolina basketball. So I feel like Mike Malone coming in is gonna be like a shot in the arm, a rejuvenation. So I feel confident in saying that UNC is back.
Did you just
Yeah.
did you just do your hands like this? Like you can't wait to eat? For real?
Can't wait.
I don't believe a damn thing you said. Just kidding. I'm gonna say thank you, X, because you changed my take. I had a bunch of different takes because I think the main thing, I think his strongest thing is that he was a head coach for about 10 years. But he's been an assistant coach for a lot of different places. So he can give you, how some people have never been second or third, you know what I mean? And they've always been head coach. I think he was an assistant coach that got an opportunity to coach, and he understands more. So one plus is that his daughter's there. I didn't even look at the 6-year $50 million. And what I'm noticing now, just talking to people whose kids are going to college, they actually want to hey, we can go ahead and get a house up there where they're going to school at. So I think that's a plus. So he's definitely going to be almost like a local now. I think eventually they're like what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's being baptized to become a Tar Heel. You know what I'm saying? Because you understand what I'm saying? Even though he's not, he's going to, because his baby there. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, that's one of the main things they put down is the defense, and they said strong personal relationships with the players. So I'm guessing, y'all didn't sell y'all soul. I thought y'all was gonna have to sell y'all soul, but y'all didn't. And so I think this is, listening to you, I'm on y'all side. I think this is gonna be a good recruit. I think that also he might have been tired of the NBA. I think he got kind of treated bad with that fire. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, kudos to y'all. Like I had he's the winningest coach for Denver. Ain't too many coaches that's been with one team, and he was there for 10 years. definitely, helped Jokic be who he was. But congratulations, man. You know what I mean? Congrats. I'm happy for him. I don't think he should have been fired. I thought they kind of dogged him. I also would like that the old Memphis coach. I hope he get a job because I thought they treated him bad also. But yeah, man, congratulations. I think I guess the only question I got is how y'all gonna feel about recruiting. I think recruiting is gonna be okay.
I honestly, I feel like he's going to be able to recruit because if you think about it, when he was an assistant, when he had those guys in the NBA, they
Mhm.
were pretty much the same age as what they would have been in college. So
Right,
he knows how to communicate and
right,
build a rapport with young guys. So I feel
right.
like that part of his coaching style
Hmm.
and his background and
Hmm.
personality is going to
Hmm.
transfer and carry
Right,
over to North Carolina. And like you
and
said, he
right,
builds strong personal
right,
relationship with his players.
right,
And nowadays, that's it's kind of what these college kids need, especially with the
right,
transfer portal. You don't
right.
coaches don't want to keep going into the portal to getting guys, especially when you're recruiting guys from
Hmm.
high school and bringing them in. Though you look at them as those are your guys, and you don't want to keep losing your guys to the portal, Captain. I mean, you
Hmm.
still have to do the recruitment thing, but you don't want to keep losing guys you bring in every year after their first season and have to
Right,
pretty much restart a whole another process over again.
right. And I want to say this: some people were bringing up Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick 70. This dude is 54. You know what I mean? So he's not. He's really not old. You know what I mean? Like he ain't in his 30s or his 40s, but you know what I mean? I think it's gonna be okay. I think by his daughter being there too, I think that's a big plus. You know what I mean? But that's it. You know what I mean? So you,
Yeah,
coach.
it was when they when yeah, when it was announced yesterday, I
Uh
was
huh.
kind of shocked that they went that route because I kind of figured they were gonna. I know once Tommy Lloyd got signed, that re-signed with
Hmm.
Arizona, that won't happen, and then obviously Dusty May, that won't happen because obviously he was entrenched at Michigan winning that championship. But I do like the hire. Like I think we talked about it once Hugh got fired. This might be a time for them to go outside the
Hmm.
box. I do like the fact that, like, me and X, we were talking about it before the show, the presser, where, like, and one thing I talked about, like, as far as whoever the new coach is, getting ingratiated with the culture, has a great relationship with Roy Williams. They talk, during there, and then also having a, talking to Sean May, a couple of the guys he had talked to. I don't know if he's, I think he still has a relationship with MJ. So it's just one of those things where um, I always said, hey, get the buy-in from those guys, and they're going to help you because Carolina still, although it's outside the box, but those guys that are woven to to the fabric of Carolina will also help you as well. So I definitely think he's done a great job as far as putting himself in that position. He even said that, hey, I'm a part of this, but I still want these guys to be a part of the program as well. And I don't know in what role or whatever. So I like the fact that he did bring, he embraced those guys. Those guys are embracing them. So that's a great start. And I definitely think that helps open the door for like the recruiting or for that, so he can, he'll have some help with it. So the village is really behind Mike Malone, which is great. And like I said, like we talked about it last year, and almost to the date where he got fired. Actually, literally a year ago tomorrow,
Hmm.
which we all was like dumbfounded because, like, why would you fire this man a week before the season ends, the regular season ends? But we all know how that, as far as his relationship with the general manager, kind of got sour, and then he wanted to bring in his guys. So that's just the nature of the business. But he wasn't fired, like the Bill Belichick angle where they just been bad at the Brady. And then you look at kind of Bill is just how Bill is when it comes to. So at least Mike Malone in this hire has a way better track record in the last few years compared to when Bill Belichick came here.
Right.
especially how his career is and his post Brady career. So, yeah, when people say that, like Coach K, that was just a lazy take. I know Coach K said something about it, and I just think that was like really like lazy for somebody even like a Coach K to say something like that. It's stupid. But I think this is a great hire overall because just the simple fact of you bringing in the guy with NBA pedigree, and and I know people say, well, he doesn't know about the college game, but there's a lot of people that really didn't know much about the college game, and I think he'll be someone that'll be able to adjust quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great look at what Coach Luke is doing at Miami. He turned the team around. Look at what Coach Odom doing at UVA. So it's gonna be right on brand of kind of now. We got that new head coach, that flavor of the month, and I definitely think it's gonna carry over. And I know a lot of people, especially in the Carolina groups, are freaking out because everybody's hitting the portal. It's okay, and I think it's just one of those things where you know it happens, it happens. And but Mike Malone, I definitely think he has the chops to recruit and go into that portal. And because guys, in theory, even on this new NIL where you're getting money now, guys still want to go to the NBA because people know that second contract is where the money's at. Where I could essentially have generational wealth after that second contract. So NBA is still the goal. Yes, I may get $500,000 or $1 million here or there, but I want that big money that the league has, and he can take you there. I mean, he turned a guy that got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial to a multiple league MVP. And a lot of guys can say that, hey, that could be me. I could be the next Jokic or whatever. And he could be like the Illinois coach. Damn, I can't believe I forgot Illinois coach. Like he can scout internationally. So it's one of the things where he's gonna have a disposal of talent. Like he can get talent here and he can get talent aboard. So I love it. If you wanted to get an outside the box hire, he was a perfect one. So I give Bubba and them credit. They knocked out the park with this hire. In my personal
Boy,
opinion.
I thought y'all was gonna sell y'all soul and go out there and get y'all some one and dones. I swear, I thought y'all was. I thought that. I was like,
And plus,
they
you
go.
had no choice because now you're a deadline. The clock is ticking because now the portal open today. You can't really wait for Billy Donovan because even though Billy Donovan is probably going to get fired, but he probably gonna let him go probably Monday. It's too late. You can't hop in no portal 4 or 5 days later and think you can get some guys. It's thousands of players in that portal today, and they're on Zooms now, and they get ready to sign the teams. And you can't wait. You can't wait for this. You can't wait for Bill Donovan next week to get fired. But,
would you really want Billy Donovan? Like think fairly though. Like, would you really?
No, not really.
Want
That was the person who I thought was going to be available.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would have been good in this era because, like I said, I didn't think of Mike Malone would even took this job. I figured that was going to be the only one as far as who had coaching experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, because like we were talking about it, I thought because I know for sure they wanted Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May, but obviously with them being in the Final Four, the first domino dropped when Lloyd got his extension on Friday, so you knew that was going to happen. And you knew you weren't going to get Dusty May. So it was like, it's not a lot of coaches out, as far as that's available. And you think as how, as far as Billy Donovan, what he has done like at Florida and kind of what he's done, like even like at OKC, you look at kind of how they were on their way to developing. So yeah, I thought he was going to be a viable option. But, like I said, the way the dominoes I thought was gonna fall because obviously the Bulls fired their general manager and the president, so I figured he was gonna be on his way out anyway in Chicago. So I figured that would be a good landing spot for him if he decided to because he's gonna get fired from Chicago. So it's just a formality.
I feel you.
So
get his butt out of there, huh, Coach?
But it worked out.
Congratulations, though, fellas.
Yeah, I mean,
For real. That 6 year,
Yeah.
50 million, and his daughter being there. Yeah, congratulations, fellas.
Yeah.
And he deserves it too. That's the other thing. He got dogged in Denver, and he deserved it.
Oh yeah.
For real.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Definitely huge shout out to Coach Malone, man. I hope to see you on December the 12th at Cap One. Because that UNC and Georgetown gonna go crazy.
Mm,
So
that sounds
yeah,
fun.
December 12th. Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. December the 12th, 2 weeks before Christmas. That Saturday. It's
Early
on.
Christmas gift. Early Christmas gift.
But yeah,
I got
man.
one for you. Before we
Yes.
move on, I would
Yep.
just to sit there and the people of North Carolina like, man, who you think we should get? Like, man, I think I might know somebody we'd be able to get. Who? Man, Mike Malone. No, you know his daughter. You know his daughter here. Like, man, all we got to do is sit him down. Blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? Put something together. You know what I mean? That's what's up, man. Do your
Yeah.
job, fellas. Do your job. Do your job. Like,
And, she, and
you know?
shout out to his daughter, man. She played volleyball.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
played volleyball at UNC.
You know, be at the
Yeah.
nacho stand while
That's
she
funny. I
playing.
was like, because he yeah,
Go ahead, coach.
it's
Go
crazy,
ahead.
man.
Hey, you be at the nacho stand and be
Because
like,
I was like, it,
my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you good.
You sure? All right. Okay, let me tell you real quick so you can go ahead and go. But
Yeah,
like, see him
yeah.
being at the nacho stand, he go up there like, hey man, I see your daughter going here, man. We could really use, you know what I mean? Like, oh really? Yeah, let me go ahead and get them nachos for him. Yeah, so let me, what we gotta do to get you here. Like,
Talk to him.
write it down to people like I can get you this right now. Like, you
No
know what I
shit.
mean? For real. But yeah, man, that's what's up.
Yeah. Because it was funny because he was wearing like Carolina stuff like earlier in the year, and I'm like, it's funny I never put two and two together. And I'm
Right.
just like, oh, okay. I guess he just liked the colors. But I was like, not knowing that his daughter played volleyball there.
Right.
It's crazy. But,
When I was studying
but
when Hugh
yeah,
got fired,
I hate
his name was thrown in there. You know that? His name was thrown in there of possibles. Some of the people that I was watching.
Yeah. Yeah. He was somewhere I definitely because I figured he was gonna at least I know he wouldn't get back in the coaching game, but I think like when you go to ESPN and that type of stuff, you're like, I want to be here for a few years or whatever, and then put myself back out there. But yeah, it was quick. Yeah, he definitely deserved another opportunity because like we talked about it last year, he didn't deserve to get fired when we talked about it last year. Because I thought he was gonna be the new head coach somewhere like next year for sure. I thought he was gonna be hired, in the fall.
Yeah,
Or
but
the
like
summer slash fall.
a coach of Mike Malone's caliber deserves so much better. Like you don't fire him a week or two before the playoffs. If you were planning on firing
Yeah,
him, why not
the
just
final
wait
week.
until after the playoffs to let him go? Why do it before? And has any word or story ever came out as to why he was fired? Because I haven't heard anything.
I think him and
It's
I think
because
there was a go ahead, coach.
him and the general manager they just didn't get along because that's what they wanted. Because their coach now is David Alderman.
Yeah,
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's their coach name. So basically, they want, and like we had talked about it last year because he's like, now that was the final week of the season. I'm just like we said, because I don't think they got out the first round. My memory serves correct. Or if they did, they didn't go to what's the conference finals. I put it that way. So you could just
no,
fire him 2 or 3 weeks later
they,
instead of firing him the final week of the season.
they lost in the second round to OKC in Game 7.
Okay, yeah,
So
but still, what
yeah,
3 weeks later?
yeah.
I heard that it was. I think he was going off on the team. I think the team was defense. They wasn't really playing defense like they used to be. And then they had Westbrook, and Westbrook was trying to motivate them. And I think yeah, definitely him and the higher ups didn't have it. They had issues. And then I mean, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, he had went in and he really went off on the team. And I think that was part of the issue too. Is like he was trying to get them motivated because they wasn't playing to where they were supposed to be at. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what a coach is supposed to do. That's what you pay him for, to motivate the team.
Right,
Yeah.
So you fired the
right.
man for doing what his
Right.
job description requires.
Job
Just
is
like
supposed to do. Right.
right.
So
Just like today, they were saying that the team, the organization, like his voice. They said his voice was gone. That's what they said.
But they'll just make excuses. And that's the thing, because I think they were like losing, like they was like on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, and then they got rid of them. And I'm just like, none of it made sense when it
Hmm.
happened last year, and I'm just like, it was stupid. But I'm like, but everything all works out. That's why, like, just things happen like that, but it all works out at the end. And like you said, maybe that's why I was shocked. Like Taylor Jenkins, like we even talked about that before the show. Like, as far as like Taylor Jenkins is just falling off the map. Like like he should be somebody who we
Hmm.
would definitely think we should have a coach, and he might be
I think he'll
in
be
this
in the
next
mix.
coaching cycle. Because
Yeah,
obviously coaches can
Yeah.
get fired here for
yeah,
sure.
he'll be in the mix this offseason
Might be
for
in Chicago.
like being Orlando.
Yeah. Because he did well for that Memphis team. They dealt with a lot of
Yeah,
injuries. For the success that they
because
had, they
Mosley
dealt
out,
with a lot
unfortunately.
of injuries, and they still was a successful team. I wasn't since he had been. They had went to the playoffs damn near every year,
Yeah,
right?
Hmm.
Except for
yeah,
And at the time that they fired him
yeah.
last season, they were the number 2 seed in the West.
who?
After
Nuggets.
Mem- no, Memphis.
What?
Taylor
Yeah,
Jenkins.
yeah. Memphis was up there as far
Yeah,
as
Memphis.
playoffs,
Memphis.
Yeah,
and then everything just went downhill.
Did you know the year before that? And I didn't know until I watched Gil's show that they had new ownership came in and then they fired all his coaching staff. And it's so weird, like stuff like that you would
yeah.
think
The
would be
assistants. Yep, all
top.
four of them. Yeah, four
Yep,
assistants.
they you would think that stuff would be on the bigger network. So we like what? That just stuff behind the scenes, bro.
But hey, I can go down a rabbit hole, but it's Memphis. So a lot of teams don't. They like the local, like the national don't really cover. Teams like like the Memphis Grizzlies and what have you. But yeah, and then that's because they wanted their guy. So that current guy, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Igor or Igor or something like that. Who's their current coach now? That's who they bought in for in the place of Taylor Jenkins, because he was kind of forced as Taylor Jenkins' assistant, and then they end
Hmm.
up promoting who their current head coach is now. Like you said, you get rid of all four of his assistants, and then you're like, okay, so why the team, doing what he's doing?
Hmm.
Because he loses his whole staff that helps him become successful. Like,
Right.
but this just go like you said, go to show you how dirty of a game it is. It's a dirty
Yeah.
game.
Saying online that the Bucks are eyeing him.
It's Memphis.
It could
It
be
could
a
be
good
another
fit in
situation.
Milwaukee.
Stay away from them. Stay
That's
away.
what I'm saying, Coach. He said, "Nah, that's gonna be the same." Yeah, right.
It could be another situation.
Yeah, it is.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Because then, because you're about to lose Giannis, but in unfortunate now, you ain't gonna get much for Giannis because it's almost gonna be like pennies on a dollar because everybody knows you want to get rid of him, and then this whole investigation of he wants to play versus management trying to sit him down. Sit on the couch, get your money from Memphis, stay the hell away from Milwaukee.
Yeah. He ruined his
Even
whole
LeBron
team.
say don't go to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Well, LeBron say I don't like Memphis or Milwaukee. So listen to LeBron James.
Funny thing is, he might be talking about the organization. Anyway, I'm not about to do that.
But yeah, I would stay clear from Milwaukee. I will be somewhere that's 5 years ago, yes, but 2026, I don't know about Milwaukee because they're in full rebuild mode and.
Why would you go to Milwaukee?
This probably will be worse than when Kareem leaving to go to the Lakers in the 70s.
You know what? As we're talking, we talking about Mike Malone getting treated a specific way a week before the season was over. We talking about Taylor Jenkins. 1 year they fired his coaching staff. Then they get rid of him, right? When you said they were number 2, well, the Milwaukee Bucks did the same thing before Doc Rivers. They was number 1 in the East, had the number 1 offense.
Well,
and they fired their coach. Because
matter of fact, because Doc was all-star coach because of Adrian Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
Remember that?
Doc was like
Griffin had the best record, right?
He was consulting, yeah.
He was consulting Adrian Griffin.
Yeah. Right.
Dirty game, man. Dirty game.
Yet again, Taylor Jenkins. Sit your tail down and go for the best.
The Suns firing Monty Williams. The Detroit Pistons coach getting fired by the Cavs. And then, now look what he's doing with the Pistons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a trip. And then seeing Billy Donovan still with Chicago all that time. And then, like, it's wild.
Oh, don't worry about that because he could be gone in days. When we hear next week, he'll be gone. Once Sunday over, he on the first plane. He might leave Sunday nights. The first plane out of Chicago Monday morning, he's gone.
Hold on, Coach. He got to do his exit interviews first.
Make sure you get you some popcorn, Don.
Yeah, exit interviews all you want. Right, and make sure you get them trash bags too. Clean out your office. That's what happened. They clean their house, and it's just like, yeah, they got rid of president and GM yesterday. It's done.
It's hilarious.
So, speaking of Chicago and the turmoil that's going on in Chicago, when this happened yesterday, this was really a shock. I'm not gonna lie. I did not think this was gonna happen. So, Angel Reese was traded to the Atlanta Dream, fellas. So she was traded for them to the Atlanta Dream in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2027 and 2028 draft. Fellas, what are your thoughts on the Bayou Barbie going to? What you got, X?
First of all, blockbuster trade. What? And this was on the first day of free agency for the WNBA?
I think it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Honestly, I like it for Angel Reese and gives her a fresh start in a new place. She's gonna be around players that can make her better and that she can also make better. I felt like in Chicago that really wasn't the case. Um, from the firing of Coach Spoon after her rookie season, you kind of can tell the disconnect between Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. So I think in her short career, it was time for her to move on. Um, and I think, in my opinion, it's all on Chicago. I haven't really heard anything about Angel Reese as far as her being a problematic teammate or anything like that. So
Right.
I'm putting it all on Chicago. Um, they just need to. They got to do some soul searching, some cleansing, and get the right people in to um to change their organization around. And like I said, I don't blame Angel Reed. Did was this trade requested by Angel Reed, so they just traded her?
No, it
They
came
just
out of
trade.
left field. I don't
Oh,
think
okay,
no
okay,
one knew.
okay,
I
okay,
mean, team-
okay, okay. So like I said, I like this for Angel Reed. I feel like it's fresh start in a new place. It's the step in the right direction to keep her short career flourishing. She's a two-time All-Star. She's a future Olympian. So the stars are aligning for her, um, especially with this new CBA deal that just been approved and agreed on. So she'll be able to go down to Atlanta, ball out, um, earn a max contract. So I'm all for it. It's gonna make basketball in Atlanta even more exciting. Um, you're gonna see it's gonna bring the stars out. You're gonna see a lot of people um, trying to get in on that hot ticket, and it could also potentially we may can see some banners being raised in Atlanta if, like I said, if everything gels right and they bring in the right people. Yeah, all signs are looking up for the Atlanta Dream,
yeah,
and she's a perfect fit for the city of Atlanta. Perfect, perfect.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What you got, Mal? Your thoughts?
Andrew Reese traded to Atlanta Dream. Okay. I got she's 14 points per game. Rebounds is 13. She assists almost 3. Um she's been there, 2 seasons, right? And double doubles. Like you know, she's first in double doubles. She's got a 446 career rebounds. Like it's ridiculous that you would trade it. But hey, X, you a wrestling fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
So if you're a wrestling fan, you already understands if you have something like this is our gym right here. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We need to put her in the right scenario because it's not working out in Chicago. And so like Chicago Sky, 2024 they were 13 and 27, 2025 they was 10 and 34. She cannot be there. You got to take her to Atlanta. You know what I mean? She's going to fit well in Atlanta Dream. Uh Let me see, 2024 they was 15 and 25. This 2025 they were 30 and 14. So they're already making their way. I think they was third in the division. So you put her there, and then you got free agency coming um, tomorrow. They could put some pieces together, and let's not go sit at like you know she is one of those names that made people really, really pay attention to to basketball. Um, they've got we are all older now, so we already know. You go back to the Bird and Magic times. You got to capitalize off of that. You know what I mean? Juju is eventually going. You got to start capitalize off these stars. So that's why I think happened. I think it's going to be great for Atlanta. It's going to be great for her. I guess we need to start talking about Chicago Sky, because since the championship is in 2021, it seemed like they've been struggling. Their stars has always complained about the faculty, the standards, and since the new CBA, it's like they still trying to do the same things they used to do. They always seem to lose their stars. Sylvia Fowles, Kalia Cooper, Gabby Williams, Ellen and Dunn, but it just seemed, like we were just talking about organizations and coaches. We talked about 3 different teams, and you can even throw Sacramento in there. You know what I mean? And it just seemed like they keep going through the same things and the same things and same things. And sometimes the organization is just not good organization. They don't know what to do. You know what I mean? So shout out to her. I guess they felt like getting the number 1 pick for 2027 and the number 1 pick in 2028 is worth it, but she's only been there for 2 seasons. She's already breaking records. Like, why would you let her? And that's not just on the court. It's what she's doing also outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's beautiful. She got makeup lines. Like, she's way more than just you're not supposed to let a star like that go.
So when I found out this news, I was thrilled. Why am I thrilled? Because the Washington Mystics, they traded Ariel Atkins to the Chicago Sky for a 2027 first round pick, which they can do a pick swap. So if this is the worst team in the WNBA next year, and they get the number 1 overall pick, my QB1 could be right next to his significant other, quote unquote. So could you imagine having Juju Watkins in the district? That could be what could potentially happen. If we can get a generational player like that coupled with Citron, Georgia, and Kiki, we'll win the championships. Well, not we, but the Mystics. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first thought, England. But I think this is a perfect spot for Angel Reese to go to Atlanta, where she'll be playing winning basketball and being a part of a team. You just look at just the whole thing. If Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, I don't know as far as the whole, I don't know if Brittany Griner's gonna come back, but you look at just kind of what I'm going based on kind of what they had last year. And hopefully most of them will come back in free agency. So you're looking at that. This team made a run, obviously later in the season. I think they ended up being like the 3rd best record in the W last year. So had obviously that upset loss, the heartbreaking loss in the season series against Indiana Fever. So to me, they're all in Atlanta. I think she'll definitely fit in perfectly in that system. Obviously, just her being able to kind of verse defensively wise, where she can pick up anybody on the floor. So that's great shit. Like we said, great rebounder, great defender. She got a little bit of an offensive touch. She's got enough to kind of help them kind of do it. She's like a double machine, like you had talked about it earlier, averaging 14 and 13, and the culture. So now you look at it for those home games, they're gonna have to play a State Farm. I mean, I don't think they're ever going forward. They're gonna have to play a State Farm because it's just the impact of Angel Reese. I think they're gonna be playing in the NBA arena at least. I want to say about 50 to 60% of those games will have to go to State Farm Arena, because she brings that type of draw. And now You look at, now she's in the South, back in the South again. Obviously, those LSU fans, they come from Baton Rouge and all the way down there to come to Atlanta here and there.
Right.
She'd be a great fit in Atlanta. To me, she's the perfect, even though she's from Maryland, but I definitely think she's someone that fits that mold of being in Atlanta, where, just as far as the culture, really like embrace Angel Reese, and I even seen like little stuff like have people having Angel Reese centric menus and stuff at their restaurants, and I like that could potentially happen because she's that person, she's that box office attraction. She will put butts in seats, and that's the thing too, where she's that triple threat, like you just mentioned, as far as her marketability, her playing ability, and then just her overall contribution to the game. And one thing too, and even despite the the hatred that comes with it, there's still eyes on that, regardless of people can hate. Because a lot of people were saying that I'm hating on a move, but I'm like, but you're still gonna watch because you have no life. You have nothing else but to hate on a 23-year-old young woman. That's because your life is shit, but you want to talk about a 23-year-old girl. So I love it for Atlanta, and I hope we get that first pick next year, and we can get by far one of the greatest players in this basketball universe.
Right, and fine as hell. Lord have mercy. Woo.
My QB1 is gonna be. We're gonna be selling out Cap Arena. My QB1 gonna be there every single game. She gonna be at every game.
Yeah.
When we go to RFK, man, we win a WNBA championship and we win the Super Bowls.
Cool. Hey, QB1, go over there and play that Madden. Come here, girl. Come here, girl.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Come over here. Let's listen to some Nipsey Hussle. She from LA.
Yeah, they California kids in the district. Man, 2027, let that happen. Let that be on our bingo card for sure.
But Coach, I'm telling you, man, when I seen this, I was like, yo, this is gonna help the league. And I said, this just feel like some wrestling stuff where they was like, man, this ain't helping her being there. It's better off for her going to a place like Atlanta. Like everything that you said it's perfect for the league. You know what I mean? It's that's all I could say. It's just perfect for the league. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and I'm looking at the record. Like she a 2-time All-Star. I'm looking at the record like 13-27. I mean, what y'all trying?
Yeah.
Like, and then when they said she complained about Chicago, and then she apologized, and then they suspended her for complaining.
I don't know. I don't remember that, but still. And then like you talking about it, man. Like you look at kind of like how bad this franchise been in the 5 years. You wouldn't even think they won a WNBA championship. All the coaching turnover, the general manager, they gone, and you bringing in, so it just shows you how unstable this franchise is. And yet again, I'm curious who they're gonna draft in this year's draft, and who they got, and so they got rid of Mabry. She went to Connecticut, so you look at that, and because the only person that is Camila Cardosa, Haley Van Lift. That's only really people in Area Atkins. So I'm like, yeah, let them get a number 1 overall pick in 2027, please. So we can do that pick swap.
So back in September, she said something to the Chicago Tribune about the team, and they suspended her. She apologized, but suspended her for the first half of the game.
Yeah, because it was I remember bits and pieces of that because when she was talking about the organization, like as far as because I wouldn't necessarily they didn't spin her. Well,
I'm gonna read it. Can I
They
read it to
kind of
you?
spend it, but it's kind of like lost in translation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It says in September 2025, the Chicago Sky suspended Andrew Reese for the first half of the game against the Las Vegas Aces due to statements detrimental to the team made to the Chicago Tribune. The comments involved public criticism of teammates and the team direction. She was later ruled out for the full game with a back injury. Subsequently, traded to the anyway, but they said but she had apologized. But that was September. That should have been the end right there. You know what I mean? That as soon as that happened, her saying that about the team, that was the end. You know what I mean? They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle a person like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and but yeah, that was the best move for her to go to Atlanta for sure.
Hmm.
And we'll definitely see the impact on that immediately for the Dream. Yep.
Yeah.
But yep. So, fellas, our final topic of the night: Kirk Cousins. So, Kirk Cousins signed essentially a 5-year, $172 million up to, which this first year is going to be $20 million of that money is going to be guaranteed for that first year. What's your guys' thoughts on Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders, and then just who you think will be QB1 at the start of the season, him or Fernando Mendoza? I'm gonna go with you first. X, what you got?
My initial thought is I need his agent. First of all,
Right.
because this man's been getting paid from his time in Washington, Minnesota. He turned that into a lucrative deal with the Falcons and now with Vegas. So um, I'm all for players getting their money. So all um, good job, Kirk. Keep it up. Um, but do I think in my opinion, I feel like Kirk will be QB1 at the start of week one, just because I feel like they want to. I know some teams like to rush the process, and especially if they got a quarterback at the number one pick, they want to get them in and see what they got. But with Mendoza, I think you can kind of slow roll him into the season, like kind of how trying to think, kind of how like the Giants did with um Jackson Dart. They let Russell take the helm for what the first 5-6 weeks. Um, and and then once Jackson Dart got in, it was his team. He was QB1. So I feel like they'll start with Kurt, see how things roll, and then and they get off to a slow start, fans are gonna want Mendoza. So I'm pretty sure Clint Kubiak is gonna make the switch at QB1. But if Mendoza comes out and shines in training camp and in the preseason, maybe that's all the proof they need to see, and then you just roll with Mendoza. But the fact that Kurt's getting paid $20 million his first year, I kind of see him QB1 for at least half of the season, because I don't see a $20 million backup. Well, I don't see a quarterback making $20 million playing backup. It's a lot of money you got sitting on the bench. And he's already proven you know what he can do. He's not mobile. Um, if you got any type of talent at the receiver position, they're going to get their numbers, because he will spread the football out to everyone. Um, I I think, like I said, I think it's a good pickup as far as especially being a veteran quarterback. He can and they can. I guess they consider him now like a bridge quarterback when you got a veteran leading up to the rookie sensation that they drafted. So that's how I see it.
Let me go ahead. All right. So have they already drafted this quarterback yet? They haven't drafted him yet, right?
Not
But
yet.
everybody know. I mean, okay. Um, yeah, shout out to the agent, definitely. Clint, and the coach, him and Kirk Cousins got actually has they've been good together. They played they was together for 3 years with the Vikings. 2019, Kurt threw 3,600 yards. 2020, almost 4,300 yards. In 2021, almost 4,300 yards. And then Clint left and went to Denver. And then the next year, um, Kirk went to Atlanta. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at it as, but it's the Raiders. Like everybody act like this team is eventually going to be good. The Raiders have not won more than 10 games. They won 10 games twice. Once in 2016 with Del Rio, and I think this 2021 they were 10-7, and that's the year Gruden got fired. So I was looking at Clint today, and as he was talking, like, man, I just wanted to get somebody in there that I know I could trust. You know what I mean? Because that's another organization that been kind of shaky for a long, long, long time. And they got new ownership with Tom Brady, and they said Tom Brady is one of those guys that really believe that a rookie should be on the bench and watch a pro. So I do think Kurt will be number one start of the season. I respect all you guys' opinions that this quarterback coming in, since they all saying they're gonna get Mendoza, that he's already ready to be a pro. But you know what you're gonna get when you get Kirk Cousins, and he's the ultimate pro. No, yeah, he's not mobile, but man, I'm gonna be honest with you. From the time he was drafted, he was, he got some yard. He passed some yards. I think he did his first year. I think he damn near 3,000 yards or something like that. So, I mean, I think he's going to start. I think that, the Clint's like, man, I'm gonna get you in there, and he's getting paid a lot of money, man. And I think, don't the Falcons still owe him money? Don't they? Aren't they still going to be paying him money?
Yeah.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of money, man. I mean, it's just from a league
Eight and a
standpoint.
half, 8.7 million.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
to answer the question, I do think he's going to start. But yeah, you go ahead, coach.
um, yeah, and this makes sense. Like, 'cause I know we had talked about it a few weeks ago. You as far as because we had talked about Mendoza being the number one overall pick, and
Hmm.
would he start? Like, as far as I was like, it would be depending on who they bought in. Because I think at the
Hmm.
time, this is before Geno went to to the Jets, and then it was him and like Kenny Pickett. So we were like, yeah, he'll start over them. But now you bring in like a Kirk Cousins, which a lot, and I always said like because I know Clint was gonna bring somebody that's familiar with his system, and I didn't think
Hmm.
he was gonna bring in Kirk Cousins, especially at that $20 million price tag, which hence I think he will be. Which Kirk Cousins I think will be QB1. I think probably for the whole entire year, bar anything catastrophic as far as an injury or bad play. I think those are going to be the
Hmm.
only two factors where, and I think this is a great thing for Fernando Mendoza, where he'll be able to sit behind somebody like a Kirk Cousins and learn this offense, this Clint Kubiak offense. So I definitely think he will. This is a perfect thing for him because I think we get to a point where we got to get to a point where we got to develop these guys and don't essentially get rid of them so quickly. Development, these young guys is terrible. I mean, you look at it like we talked about, like a Sam Donald, where he's finally now getting into his now finally getting into being a legitimate quarterback, and it took him a little over 5 years to even get to where he's at. So, and he was almost 1 foot out of the league. I mean, you think about it, Minnesota almost damn near his last chance. So now you get a situation where Fernando can just sit behind Kirk Cousins, learn from him, be in that room, be like be a sponge to what Kirk Cousins is doing, like you said. So I definitely like that, and it's funny. It's almost feel like it's full circle, where essentially when he came to Washington, he was a 4th-round draft pick, and he was RG3's backup, and it kind of just feels funny like how he's kind of in this spot now, almost on the other end, where hey, you bring in a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who's going to eventually be the starting quarterback for this Raiders team, and it's got to work because we look at just how the AFC West is, because the biggest question mark was because out of all of them, we was like with Denver, all they needed is a quarterback. They finally got a quarterback in Bo Nix. So now you're looking at all 3 of these teams got legitimate quarterbacks. And Mahomes, Herbert, and then also now Bo Nix is in the equation. So now it's the Raiders' time for them to get the legitimate quarterback that they so richly deserve, especially ever since Derek Carr has left his team years ago. So they really haven't had a legitimate quarterback in quite some time. So now you bring in you bring in a Fernando Mendoza, which you can slowly bring him in. You don't necessarily have to throw him into the fire. So I definitely love this move. And I think Kirk Cousins will be a great mentor for somebody like a Fernando Mendoza. So that's another thing, too. Who's in your quarterback room as well? So that's why I was glad that they did bring him in, because I know we talked about it. Because I was like, you got Geno there. You also got Kenny Pickett and, Aiden O'Connell. I'm like, I mean, they're good players, but they're not like, as far as from a vet perspective, he can learn a lot more from Kirk Cousins than he would from the 3 of those guys that I just mentioned. So,
right,
I do like this move for the Raiders. Yeah, because you got to get it right at this point, because you're lacking. Because everybody got a quarterback. You got to make sure that this Fernando Mendoza is that quarterback. Can he go against Bo Nix twice, Herbert twice, Patrick Mahomes twice, and he'll get them ready, and he'll get them ready.
Hey, shout out to your homeboy that was a Raider fan that passed away. I'm sure he would be.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure he'd be ecstatic about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they finally have a quarterback. Yep.
Right,
sure.
right.
Yep. Which I definitely think he's going to be. He'll be good, and a lot of people, even at his pro day, a lot of people was in awe of kind of what he did. And I know like Louis Reddick gave him high praise and what have you, but yeah. So I think he's surrounded around good players, good defense, some playmakers, which I think they're on the verge of doing. They got playmakers. Right. I think like they're gonna. So the future's there for the Raiders. They just gotta keep up with the other three teams in this division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, fellas, we'll put a bow on the night show. Who gets this? We'll do game ball first. Who gets this week's game ball for you? X, what you got?
Elliot Cadeau. The way he played in that international championship game, he looked amazing. And for some reason, he found a jump shot at Michigan. So
Player development.
yes,
Right.
yes.
That's funny. Let me go ahead, Coach. I'm giving my
Yeah.
game ball to Nightcap. I have a lot of respect for Shannon Sharp right now. Out of everything that he's been through, he didn't stop. Every night, Nightcap is up about 3 hours. So, they just hit out of 2 years, they just hit 2 million subscribers. So Gil, JR, ISO. Now they got ISO. He been there for about a year. Rain, sleep, drama, positivity, negativity. Shannon Sharp didn't stop, man. And you know what I mean? Even ESPN being embarrassed the many times that has happened, still sitting there with Ocho every night. So I just wanted to give Miss Flowers 875 million views. He got it's 36 million a month. All around, it's on social media. It's 110 million. It's wild, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. Shout out to Shannon Sharp and Ocho, man. 2 years being like, I'm gonna put more to it. When Shannon Sharp went on Undisputed, you didn't really know what you were gonna get, and then everything that we dealt with through the pandemic, you got to see a different side of him. You know what I mean? And I only watched Fox for Shannon. You know what I mean? And for him being an athlete to do what he's doing now, and not a journalist, like it's people when he doing Club Shay Shay, they actually respect him. They like, man, you know what? You're actually good at this. You know what I mean? Lisp. It doesn't make he's not stopping. They fired from ESPN. He kept going. He ain't stopped. You know what I mean? So I just shout out to him. You know what I mean?
Ownership. Key to everything is ownership.
Yeah.
You gotta own your own stuff and have your own IP. Because if he didn't have that, this wouldn't even happen. He would have been fired.
Right.
This spit out the face of the earth. But it's all about having IP and owning your stuff. That's people. I know a lot of people are always like, put me on. No, you can put yourself on, and that's what he's been doing. He put himself on because when things like that happens, you always gotta have something to fall back on. He fall back on that. So for sure, that's a cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
He still got those 2 shows going.
Yeah.
And yep. They be trying to throw shade at him and all that. Because the other show be like, and I'm glad he took a shot back because he helped build that other show.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, because everybody kept on saying, well, I guess to tell you X. So Speak Easy, which was so
gotcha.
they was making little digs about. So they was making digs about Nightcap, but then come to think about it, because they had made a dig. They've been making digs all the time, but then when they hit 2 million, they was like, these are all organic follows, which is true because Speak Easy essentially got because remember they were Speak because they took over Undisputed's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, well, no, let me take that back. When they were the facility, remember they were the facility.
Mm-hmm.
They changed. So Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, that was their channel. And then when the show went off, that's when they had the facility. So they had well over 1 million followers, and that's where that came from. So that made sense. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
I was wondering why he said
that's why
organic.
I understood the shade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in theory they got the ball rolling from from Undisputed.
Right.
Because Undisputed turned into the facility. Because remember they were on Speak, but then they got rid of Speak for the facility. So I'm glad he pointed that out. So yeah, so I guess because I my intention was to have I had one, so I got two. So my first original one, I had to give it up to the Fab Five. That Fab Five cast was amazing. It's the first time they've been together. They've been in the same room, but it's the first time they've been together in quite some time.
Right.
Obviously, they was around the Final Four, but obviously they were scattered. We know about the beef with the beef with Jill and C Webb at the time. Now that's kind of that went away, so it's all good now, and they all kind of came together. And I think that's something that we all needed for the culture, because it's so you talk about 10, 15 years ago, I did not think this was ever going to happen, because I thought that beef was going to be like lifetime, like that somebody was going to have to leave the earth before this was going to for them to get back together in this nature, where all five are there, instead of potentially down the road could have been just four because one is gone. So glad that happened. That Fab Five cast was amazing, especially in that blowout win over Arizona. So that was great. I loved that. I wish they would have did it last night, but it was awesome. It's awesome.
Right.
Then my game ball, my second game ball is actually happened right before we got on air. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Coach Aaron Russell, the former University of Richmond women's basketball coach. Now he's at the University of Virginia. I'm pumped for him. This is such a great hire. Shout out to Carla Williams. Outstanding hires in the last 12 months. Getting Ryan Odom on the men's side, and now getting Aaron Russell. That's gonna be great. And I definitely think he's going to turn that program around as well. Obviously, coming off of a Sweet 16 appearance, the sky's the limit at UVA for now. Now bringing in the guy like Coach Russell, who led Richmond to 3 straight tournament appearances. Hell of a job. And like we talked about, Tammy Reese a couple weeks ago going to Florida. I just loving how these 18 coaches are now being going to these prominent Power 5 schools and what have you. It just goes to show you there's always room for growth in Atlantic 10, and we'll have the next crop of great coaches in A10, and they'll be making their way to other prominent roles down the line. VCU getting Coach Bambury. I love that move as well. So I'm telling you, man, it's exciting time for a lot of teams across the Commonwealth. But yeah, definitely huge shout out to Coach Russell, man. That's extremely happy for him to get that UVA job. But yeah, man. So let's wrap up this week's Couch Coach Live. Final thoughts, social media, anything you got going on, just plug away. I'm gonna go with you first, X.
Got a potential another interview coming up hopefully this weekend. Doing another episode of the Dream Bookers podcast this weekend. Social media is for Twitter /X is X_J_SR. IG is Game On Media _X. TikTok is Game On Media _X.
All right, what you got about?
Oh man, it felt good being back. X, let me know what time you want me to do that interview for you. You know what I'm saying?
I got
you. Game ball going to Maui. You know what I'm saying? I'm the ASM of the quarter. Boy, if you'd have seen the numbers, boy, y'all have been proud. Dangerous, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook DT Morgan 78. You know what I mean? I do got some things brewing up. It's really hard, when you got a vision and try to make it work, but you got to figure out a way to get them to buy into it. So one step at a time.
Yeah. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. Back at doing the Commander Central podcast, Commanders in the Chat. So we'll do another episode this week. We'll talk about some defensive prospects to watch for the Commanders to get the 7th overall pick. And then other things, I guess, back in the district again this weekend. Guess there's a football game being played at a Wale concert this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. So but yeah, so come on back to the district, X. Come on back.
I'm thinking about it.
Man, get them 70-degree waters. We won't get access. They locked that DC United cooler. So just make sure, bring some ice and bring some food. Pack a lunch. So, saying, unless you like your Bonnie yogurt that's been sitting since like 8 o'clock in the morning, let me know.
Nah, I'm cool.
Back.
I'm cool.
Hey, who you telling? I know, right? I understand. Trust me, I understand. Hey. Yeah, four more opportunities. You decide.
Oh yeah, I may get up there. I may get back up there for a game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We'll see how Saturday goes, and like you said, I wonder how this year is gonna be. So I'll let you know.
All right.
Hopefully there'll be some change, especially considering the fact that they won a championship. So they're defending champions. So you would hope maybe some championship accommodations for the media.
Would be nice.
Let's hope so.
Would be nice.
Chicken and mumbo sauce with some fries.
But I get the $5 biggie bag before I head into the stadium. So that's a little secret.
So petty, bro.
Who paid $15 for some chicken nuggets? I mean, for not chicken nuggets, but chicken tenders and fries with no drink. Nobody. You gotta ring yourself up.
You gotta ring yourself up. That's wild.
Yeah, they got self-checkout. No.
Wow.
Nope. Packing a lunch. So yeah, man. So this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, man. And we'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.
You're welcome.
Peace.